The great deep mulch lie. Stop starving your no-till garden beds. You know, all I heard for years was if you put wood chips on your garden, you're going to rob the nitrogen. I found that's not true. Yes, if you till it in, if you till in any organic material into your garden, yes, you're going to steal the nitrogen, but you're also going to disrupt that entire web of life. But when you treat it as a blanket, just a top cover, you retain moisture, you moderate the temperature, you suppress the weeds, and you feed that life in the soil. And that life in the soil is what feeds your plants. And today is Saturday, so we get to audit some of our viewers' gardens. We're going to talk about several different kinds of mulches. We're going to start off with sawdust. You know, this comes from kiln-dried lumber. It's very fine, and it will create a crust if you use it all by itself. But mixed in with the rest of the mulch, when we go to plant, we just turn that mulch and that just stirs this on in. So a little goes a long way with the sawdust. The next is your wood shavings. Now your shavings, they're a little more curly, there's a little more bulk to them. They're still kiln drying. They do last a long time, but they add some structure to your mulch. Keeps that air in there, keeps it aerobic. No matter what you're going to use and what kind of combination you're going to use, you want to keep that air in there. You don't want to let it get compact and slimy. You don't want it to become anaerobic. You want to be able to feed that life in the soil, not smother that life in the soil out. And then you have your wood chips that are processed through a chipper. Now these came from a chip drop. The difference here is this came from live tree branches, so there's some leaves in here. They not only have some green in here, which makes them break down quicker, it's a lot larger than the sawdust or the shavings. And if you can see, there's quite a mixture of different kinds of wood in here, where your sawdust is going to be mostly your pine or your oak or your hardwoods. Same thing with your wood chips. A lot of times these are pine, can be cedar. I use it all. It's just a top dressing. And having some old hay or straw, especially if it's sat out in the weather, is broken down a little bit, it's always a great addition to your deep mulch pile. Then of course we have our leaves. I like to rake them up and I like to have them full size. But with the rain that we had yesterday with those tornadoes that came through, these are kind of wet. So you want to make sure you don't just let them get packed down. Now the way I actually came up with this is because I didn't have enough of any one thing to cover the entire garden. So I take whatever I can get, whenever I can get it. There's no real recipe on how you want to lay this in. Pile that organic material on top. Now don't forget, we're going to start mowing the lawn here pretty quick. Then we're going to have some grass clippings we can add. Fresh off your lawn, if you make a pile of green grass clippings, you can go anaerobic pretty quick. It's very hot. If you let that dry a little bit, then you rake it up, then you can pile it right on top. And it also works as a real good dressing around your other plants that have come up. Now we've got some viewers that sent in some shots. Let's go ahead and take a look at their deep mulch gardens and see what's working for them. Walter's getting ready to plant his potatoes in zone 7. He wanted to see what kind of gold he had underneath his blanket. He's been using the deep mulch for a couple years now. Just look how easy he can dig down into that. And that white cap you see there, that's a worm bin. And he's using that bucket underneath there for his kitchen scraps and feeding the worms. And there's holes so they can go in and out of his garden. And that's a wonderful way to add extra life and keep your workers happy in your garden. Don't forget to use your kitchen scraps out here on your mulch. Any organics you can get your hands on. As long as you put them on top, you're going to be good to go. 4 inches thicker, remember, that's the key. Mary's using straw in her Texas deep mulch garden. After sitting all winter, just take a look at the soil underneath as she's getting ready to plant. Mary wanted us to see just how well straw transformed her dirt into beautiful living soil. Mary, thank you. Using Walter and Mary as an example, different soil types, different temperature zones, and different materials. Mary's using straw, Walter's using grass and leaves mostly, some wood chips, but look at their soil. Once you put this on top, once you put that blanket on top, that's what your soil looks like. It's easy to dig in, it's full of life, it's full of that life that feeds the plants. Talk about feed the plants and suppressing weeds. I thought you said this was weed-free. Well, this is vetch. And we let this grow this year as a green manure, and it's going to be part of the deep mix mulch. We're just going to cover this up. We started on the edges. We got a little purple dead nettle, which is also an edible wild plant, but that also helps maintain that life in the soil over the winter. And our asparagus is coming up all over the place. Let's go ahead and add that mixed deep mulch right here on the edge of our asparagus bed. And while I start doing this, let's go on down to Texas and look at Mike and Linda's deep mixed mulch garden. Mike and Linda have been eating out of their deep mixed mulch garden all winter long. Even with that snow, everything came through with flying colors. They've been using the deep mixed mulch for a couple years now. Can't really see their soil, but you can see their production. Mike, Linda, thank you. And just that quick, we've got our perennial patch pretty much taken care of. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would have had more, but I've been eating a few of them. There's nothing like brand new tender asparagus. If I would have known this as a kid, I wouldn't have been using a stick to break it off at Grandpa's house. I'd have been eating it. Got a few more areas I want to get some mulch down, and then it's going to be time to plant. Walter's got me itching to get the potatoes in. Mike, Linda, you got me itching to plant. Now I'm going to have to go get a little bit more mulch put up so I can bring it out here on the garden. And while I do that, let's go on down to Florida. Bruce is a little ahead of all of us. He had some damage with that snowstorm that came down around Orlando, but he's come up with a new way to plant. And he's using the soil that he's created under his deep mixed mulch garden as a planting mixture.
Good morning, everybody. This is Bruce at the Orlando Food Forest. Here we are today. We're going to do some planting, and a new trick that I learned. What we do is we take this bubble wrap that I got at Walmart and we stretch it out about 24 inches. And what we do is we put our dirt right down the center like this, and we take and we roll up. We roll it up like this. We grab our piece, we bring it up, and we tape it down. What we do is we stand it up in the tray.
Bruce, that's pretty clever. I think I might have to try something like that. But just scattering the seeds out in this raised bed, we've done okay. I didn't know if anything was going to actually make it, but we got a pretty good little group here. Even got some carrots that made it through that I think we're going to be able to start harvesting pretty quick. A little bit of garlic, some lettuce, some cabbage, some spinach. Well, I hope that helps you with the great wood chip lye. My results speak for themselves. I don't till anything in, haven't for over 8 years. We just layer it on top, 4 inches thicker. The hardest work I do in this garden is harvest. Till next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant. Let's go plant garden.